Welcome again to So You Want to Compete TV. I am going to ask for all of our panelists to just do me a favor and put yourself in mute. I will be making sure that I ask the questions from you guys so that way we don't have any background noise. But thank you so much for coming. And this is our 13th episode. And if you've seen the emails, this is the last live recorded episode that we are going to do for season 1. And as I say that season 1, yes, that means there is going to be a season 2. You can look for it coming back out around December time after we have gotten the 2020 season off and going for a good run. So today's episode is focusing on beyond the pro card. And so what I really wanted to do is just bring on some amazing individuals that have earned their pro card or work in the IFBB and just really showcase that, you know, just getting your pro card, it doesn't stop there. And all of these ladies that you're going to hear from, what they have gone on to do and what they continue to do for all of our competitors is just amazing. In one way or another, they are giving back to their community where, you know, they turned pro and they went forward. And so I just think it's really exciting to see this. You know, one of the things I wanted to share just with me really quickly is that I got my pro card in 2006. And then from there, one of my biggest dreams was always to go on and to promote a show. And so I had always known Stacia, and from there, you know, I reached out to her and I said, okay, I finally got this sanction form and we're going to run with it. And I got a show and I said, do you want to help me? Because I don't know if I can do this by myself. And kind of from there, the rest is history. And we grew the NPC Maxwell Virginia shows. And probably about 2 years ago, So You Want to Compete was born with the idea that we really wanted to give back to the new competitors. Because, you know, when I was getting started, it was, you know, picking and choosing, finding information about, you know, how do you get started with this? Where do you find the right information? And we just really wanted a safe space for competitors to ask questions. And, you know, luckily we had this platform when everything hit with the coronavirus this year. And, you know, we teamed up with Victoria and we said, you know, let's really figure out how do we give back to competitors that want so much right now that they're finding out that their shows are canceled or they're postponed and they've been training and they've been ready. And how do we stay connected and how do we get together? And so my first guest that I want to bring on is Miss Sandy. And you know, Sandy has been there ever since I was competing and she was the voice behind, you know, the judging panel. And I just want to say, you know, Sandy, thank you so much for everything that you have given to the sport, that you have done for us. And I just want you to, if you could introduce yourself and just give a little background about currently your title within the IFBB Pro League and what you do for competitors.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. Obviously, I'm the women's chairperson for, you know, the NPC and now the IFBB Pro League. Oh God, I competed back in from 80 to 84. And then, just like you said, it was, I knew for me, I did not have the structure for women's bodybuilding, but I loved the weight resistance training. I love what it brought to my life. I love the nutrition that I learned, you know, through competition. And, you know, at that time, there were only men judging the shows. And so, again, somebody said, if you want to see women out there, you know, put yourself where you want to be and stuff. So that's what I started doing. And it's like I said, the rest is history. You know, I've been just really fortunate. The sport has given me so much as far as I've traveled internationally. I've met so many amazing, you know, athletes, both men and women and stuff. And I continue. Everybody knows this. I continue to be amazed every year by what our athletes bring to the stage.
And if you were to give the new competitors that are tuning in and listening, what's the best piece of advice you could give them for getting started?
I think the platform, our NPC News Online, there's so much, you know, even different from me to where you were in 2006. I mean, we only had like magazines and it was very hard. And now I think there's so much information, but you still have to pick through it to find out, you know what I mean? Like to hone in on people that really know what they're talking about, know the sport, maybe have traveled the same, you know, the same path that, you know, that these athletes are looking to travel. But I think the biggest thing is trying to, like I said, to try to, you know, find a couple athletes that you follow, and go to your local shows. I think sometimes, I think we all get focused on, everybody thinks like everybody wants to get to the Olympia. And obviously that's a big part of it, but we have so many athletes that it's just about making themselves better. The rest of it kind of grows because you get hooked on it and stuff, but that's not why they're getting into it. And so I think it's just taking like one step at a time, don't be so critical, especially for the women. Don't be so critical of yourself. It's going to take time. You've got to know that this is this is a lifestyle change for a lot of people. It's not a 12-week program and it ends.
I think that's such great advice. And I would say we cannot wait to see you in 2020 and get out there. I know we are borrowing you from, you are double booked because you're a very popular woman today. So I thank you so much for coming on and spending a few minutes with us and just, helping us, get ready for 2020. I know it's finally kicking off. So we're so excited that it's getting going. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And it did. It started in Oklahoma last weekend. JM was out there, and actually Spectrum has the fitness. We have our NorCal coming up the third weekend in July 11th. And that looks like, even though we're in California, it looks like it's going to be a go. So yeah, we're really, and I know Robin has one up in Salt Lake City too, that's coming up July 11th. So I just think it's going to be good for everyone to see that the contests are able, to get back up on stage again.
Awesome. I can't wait. Well, thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for giving back. As a reminder to everyone here, check out the videos that Sandy and Becky put together with us for posing. So we've got some great footage to follow back from that. And this is a great lead in. We're going to bring on Becky. Becky and I have known each other for quite a while. And it's great that we've got Julie here too, because, we all met at Mike Davies boot camps, way back in 2005 as we were training and getting ready. And, Becky and I turned pro right about the exact same time. And so I always like, catching up with Becky and talking about just where we've gone with our careers. And now, she's gone from being a competitor to being at some of the best of the shows and judging at the IFBB Pro League level. And so one thing I want to tell is just, when did you turn pro? Remind everybody, when did you turn pro?
I turned pro back in 2007. So yes, quite a while ago. And I think you and I did meet. We were the only two allowed at a boot camp at Mike and Julie's house. It was like the week before the Olympia. And I remember like the fear of God being put into us, like, don't disrupt Julie's routine, like keep it down. I will always remember that. And I was like, oh my gosh, we better behave or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and those last weeks right before you get onto the stage, because you never know, because you've got prep brain and, you can be in a good mood or a bad mood based on where you're at. So,
Yes. So we were very careful.
Tell us about, what would you attribute as your greatest accomplishment since getting your IFBB Pro card and moving on? What would you say your greatest accomplishment is within the sport or within working with athletes?
I just really think it's an honor to be able to judge at the pro level. That's something I never really envisioned for myself. Not that I didn't want to do it, but I was kind of the same way about my pro card. I was kind of in it for the experience, and I just wanted to do more and learn more and constantly push myself. And that's what I've always told people in the industry, like, what more can I do to develop myself, either as an athlete or a judge? And then getting the opportunity to judge on the pro level, and especially to connect with female athletes. That's meant a lot to me. Sandy has set a great legacy, I think, for all of us women in the sport. And that's something, just the concern and the empathy and the positivity, like, that's something that mattered to me as an athlete. And being able to share that with other athletes and encourage them on stage, try to help them keep perspective and just have a positive attitude about the whole process is something that's meant a lot to me. And I am going to be able to judge an all-female show later this year in Nashville, which I'm really excited about. I've been able to judge the Rising Phoenix show, the Wings of Strength show. That was Tim Gardner's pro show in Phoenix for the past couple of years, and that's all women too. And it is such a cool vibe. Like, not that the men's events aren't cool, but it's just really neat to see women supporting other women, and there's just nothing else like it. And that's kind of what kept me in the sport. If you come out of athletics as, in high school or college, you don't really have an outlet after that. And so being involved in competing and being on a great team like we were, it gave me that kind of outlet again. And I feel like that's still happening today.
I think that's such great, stuff to share with everybody here. Real quickly, I'm going to remind everybody that is tuning in on Zoom and Facebook, make sure we're looking for everyone that hasn't competed before. There's always a reason why I ask you specific questions. So make sure if you are a brand new competitor, you put your information in there. And then also make sure you say hi and let us know where you are tuning in from. Another question then for you, I'm asking all of our panelists today, is just best advice for new competitors starting off.
I would say what Sandy said, like to educate yourself and keep your perspective that it is a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and really focus on the positive things that competing can give you. Like, you don't need to be going for your pro card year one, but the changes you'll see in your body, the first show you do are amazing, and focus on that. And I would also say, like, a good coach that aligns with your values and stuff. Like, for me, being a natural athlete, it was important to have a coach that supported that. Find someone that fits your lifestyle and can work with you, your personality type, and then stick with them and really keep their advice in the forefront. One good thing lately is that we have so much information out there, but kind of a bad thing is that you can compare it all and say, well, this person's doing this thing or this person's doing this, and why am I not doing that? And it's like, there's a million ways to skin a cat, right? But you can't, they aren't mix and match. You have to stick kind of to what your program is, trust it, just kind of don't overthink it, and just follow through. Just follow the plan, stick it out, and don't get too confused with too much information.
I think that's great advice. And this is gonna be a great lead in, because we're gonna go right into Miss Diane. So that's my cue for you to unmute yourself if I call your name. So we're gonna go right into Miss Diane. But I loved what you said too, especially about being a natural athlete. And don't worry, our panelists aren't going anywhere. I've asked them to stay on the entire time. So if you've got questions, make sure you put the questions in there so that you can ask the questions. But Diane, one of the things that we wanna find out first from you is, tell us again when you turned pro.
I turned pro in 2014.
2014. And I know I have seen some of your amazing routines. I have gotten to see some of your guest posing routines, and you've done some couples guest posing routines that have just been incredible. But I think the thing that you're most well known for is, always supporting being a natural athlete and the key. And if you could just share with everyone, the aspect of, I think sometimes people look at the NPC and the IFBB and they get nervous and they think, oh, well, they're all on stuff and they're all using stuff. And I think you are such a great example. And I will say, all of our athletes that are here are such great examples of, you can do this completely naturally, and you can do this with good food and good nutrition. And if you could just share some of that with everyone tuning in, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, so I've always been a natural competitor. Actually, when I first started out, like within 2 years, I started an organization way back when. I'm not going to tell my age. That kind of, it was to educate females in regards to competing as a natural. It is possible for you to accomplish your goals, whether it be the Arnolds or the Olympia, as a natural athlete. So as a natural athlete, I was actually thinking about this last week because I came across some pictures, and I was thinking, wow, I'm part of history, because as a natural athlete, I was the first female bodybuilding amateur competitor. And I thought to myself, well, that's going to be part of history. And I also went to the Olympia twice as a natural athlete. So when individuals tell you that you can accomplish your goals in this community being a natural, I am proof of that to tell you that it's not true at all. For you, just work hard and follow the advice of your coach. And you do want to get with a coach who values being natural as well too. So that's important. So, but yes, you can accomplish your goals being a natural athlete.
And give us a little feedback on, what are you doing currently? So now that you've turned pro, and are you still competing, or are you retired competing? And what's up right now?
So I competed from 2002 up until 2018. May 2018 was the last show that I did. And so I transitioned into judging, and I also have my own personal training studio that I train, competitors and everyday individual. So I'm all about health and fitness. I'm very passionate about it. I care about all my clients, and I want to make sure that in the process of them accomplishing their goals, that they're not going to ruin their health at the end of it. So it doesn't matter if you're competing as a bodybuilder or you just an everyday client. I make sure that, the process in terms of going from where you are to being healthy and in shape is not something that's going to ruin your life.
Yeah, I think that's great. And let's talk real quickly, because I think you are our newest judge on the panel here. We've got quite a few judges with us today. Talk about the appreciation for the judging panel as you transitioned over to being a judge and sitting behind that panel and judging.
Once you become a judge, your eyes are going to be open up. You think as a competitor that you know everything, but once you sit at that table and you actually start judging, you learn a whole lot. It's totally different. You learn to appreciate the fact that, you know, okay, all these competitors, they put in their hard work. You want to make sure that they're being judged properly, but you see things that you didn't see as a competitor. So it basically opened up my eyes in terms of, you know, the competitors and just seeing it from a different point of view.
Yeah, I think that's really, you know, eye-opening. I only, you know, ever once sat behind the judging panel. It was for the World Police and Fire Games. And I remembered I'd gotten special permission and I'd reached out to the NPC and I'm like, can I do this? And they said yes. And I remember sitting there going, oh my gosh, I cannot believe the judges sit here and look at this amazing group of people and they have to put people together based on who is going to win the show. So it's a lot of admiration for it. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to go to Miss Julie Palmer. So thank you so much, Diane, for being on. I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions because I see them starting to come. So I'm going to make sure I introduce all of our panelists so you guys can do that. So we're going to turn it over to Miss Julie now. And so Julie, as I've known Julie for, it ages us if I tell you how long I've known us since, you know, before we had little kids and, you know, running around in the house. So, but Julie, you are now, I mean, we had your husband on earlier. So we talked about everything that you guys are doing. I mean, really giving back in terms of, you know, helping competitors get going, find their place. But you guys have a show coming up very soon, right? It got rescheduled, right?
Correct. We have 2 shows coming up. So we have my show, Julie Palmer Ultimate Showdown, which is August 8th in Dayton, Ohio, and then the Ohio State Bodybuilding Championships, which is September 26th in Columbus.
Awesome. So we've got both you and Skylar on. So both in, you know, in the industry of having fitness facilities. Talk about, you know, just the challenges that you guys are overcoming. I'm sure you guys are super excited. Everything is opening back up and you're getting to see people training again. How's it been with adjusting to everything?
It's been a lot, but it's been really great. Our gym has been blessed. We have had over 100 new members sign up, probably over 150 at this point now since we opened 3 weeks ago. So we have been super, super busy. So we're excited about that.
That's awesome. And tell everybody when you got your pro card.
Oh, I got my pro card in 2000 at the USA's in fitness.
Yep.
Go Fitness
So,
Girls.
yeah. So, and where is fitness right now? So what would you, if people asking, we have competitors reach out all the time asking about fitness. Is it still around? Is it still there? Knowing that your background, I started in fitness and really quickly knew that, you know, I needed to move over due to a bunch of injuries, but just to the new fitness competitors coming and interested in wanting to do it, what advice can you give them?
I say go for it. We have girls that we train that, you know, I know have a background in some kind of sport, and I encourage them, hey, you can go do fitness and you can still do bikini. You can do fitness and you can still do figure. So why not give it a shot? You have that background, go for it. So
I think that's awesome.
We need girls. We need fitness girls out there.
So, and what do you see in the horizon for you and Mike and with everything that you guys are doing?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we continue to try to evolve and stay up with the times. You know, this downtime, I know he talked about our Zoom classes a lot and how we utilize those. We're continuing those on for those people who either A, don't have a gym open yet, or B, just aren't comfortable getting back into their home gym yet. So, I mean, we just continue to try to evolve and present new things to those competitors that are out there and let them know we're there for them. We are doing our fitness camp weekends again, where the girls come in on the weekends. We've started those back up so competitors can come back to the house like you and Becky did and stay with us again. So we have a group of 8 coming to the house next week with 2 or 3 in hotels. Victoria's one of them. So we'll have a big full weekend next weekend here as well.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here. And remind everybody how many little kids you have running around. Well, you got 2 big kids, and then how many little ones?
2 big kids, 3 little ones. Their little ones are 9, 7, and 5.
So definitely, I think, you know, Julie shows everybody that you can be a busy working mom, have kids, and stay fit too. So awesome. Well, thank you, Julie. I am going to transfer over to Teresa right now because we've got some questions coming in, and I know Miss Teresa is going to be really great at answering these questions. So if we can get Teresa unmuted.
I don't know if I'm going to be great at answering the questions, but I'll try.
Oh, yes. This is a perfect question for you because it's specifically asking about figure, and it's asking about amateur competitors and moving on to the nationals. But first, when did you turn pro?
I turned pro with Becky in 2007 at Team U.
And you went on to the Olympia and competed at the Olympia too. There's been quite a few here that have competed at the Olympia.
I did. I competed at the Olympia 5 times. And my journey to the stage, you know, like when people say, oh, I didn't win my first show. Listen, I got 13th, 16th, you know, I took it all in stride. Yeah, it was definitely a journey. So I've been to the Olympia 5 times. I placed 5th one year and 6th one year. So that was an accomplishment for me because I didn't have this grandiose physique. I was tall and slender. So it was definitely an accomplishment. I also used to work with Mike once upon a time as well. So it's my story.
So, and now what are you doing now? I mean, we've seen you transition from competitor to pro athlete to, you know, competing at the Olympia. And now we know you most and best as a head judge. I know that, and that's how I got to meet you. But what would you say is your biggest accomplishment given everything that you've done so far?
You know, during my whole years of competing, I always had a full-time job. I worked for NASA. So I continue to do that. I mean, that's steady, good paycheck. So I will not be leaving that. And then I transitioned once I got off the stage in 2012, I transitioned to judging locally. And now I'm a head judge in Maryland, Virginia. My biggest accomplishment, I just would say that challenging myself, because I was never the type, I didn't wear bikinis. I didn't have confidence in my body. I was an athlete, but that's what I was, an athlete. It wasn't prancing around in bikinis or anything. So I challenged myself kind of as a dare. And I didn't think I was going to do it, but I did it. And so the accomplishment was I tackled my fear. So my fear was getting up on a stage in a bikini in front of hundreds of people. So that was my biggest accomplishment at that time. I think now is the head judge. I like judging with my judges. Diane, I see you. So everyone is great. Gary and Tony and the whole crew. I enjoy judging with them, and I continue to want to do more. Maybe on the national level. I judged a couple of national shows, but maybe go on and do more with Becky and stuff like that. So.
That's awesome. And I know we're so ingrained in asking all these questions, we've just like totally bulldozed over our giveaway time. So I'm going to ask Teresa one more question because it's directly related to her as a head judge, and then we'll go to our giveaway. But and you'll see why this one's a good one for you. Any words of advice for a competitor looking to go for that big show? So coming from the amateur level, and then they're looking to go on to that next big show. What's the best advice you can give them before they move on?
I would say give yourself some time because, like I said, it's a journey. And listen to your coach and your coach only. Sometimes you have a lot of outside noise. And when it's information overload, that's what it is. You're like scatterbrained. So I would say give yourself some time. Just because you won the local show last week, it doesn't always necessarily mean you need to go to the national show next week. Now, if you want to, good luck. I'm not trying to kill nobody's joy, but give yourself some time, listen to your coach, and study your body. Get to know your body, because there are times where my coach would say, eat this. And if I'm not seeing you every day and it's not working for me, I'm not eating that. Sorry. I just, I substituted, but I have those conversations. So yeah, so just be patient. It'll come.
Yeah. I think one of the best advice too that we heard, and I know Gary mentioned it throughout our So You Want to Compete TV series, is he said, for some of the amateur ones, you know, just because you're qualified for nationals doesn't mean just jump to the next level. And I think one of the best advice I've ever heard is he said, give yourself the chance to win the overall. And I think, you know, I tell competitors all that time when we meet new competitors, enjoy the amateur level, enjoy the national level, and then enjoy the pro level, because at every single aspect of every level, there's so much to be gained from every single one. And don't be in a hurry to keep jumping, you know, experience every single one of them. So Victoria, we're going to go to you really quickly to do a giveaway, because if not, I'm just going to keep asking all these amazing women questions.
Thank you, Corey, and thank you again, everyone, for joining us. We have really amazing packages today, because most of our gifts are from these amazing women themselves, who not only turned pros and achieved something in the fitness industry, but also are mothers. They have full-time jobs, and they also do extra just to give back to the community. So our first little package will be from Ms. Diane Brown. She is giving away one of her posing sessions. And in addition to that, we're gonna do OCD cookies. So who will be our first winner, Corey?
So our first winner is going to be the very first person that tuned in this morning, Miss Raylan Poulin. So go ahead and send a direct message to Stacia, and we will get that off to you.
Thank you, Corey.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's go and let's bring on Miss Sean. I see you in there, over in the window.
I'm
Hey,
here.
Sean.
Hey.
And remind everybody, because you transitioned from figure into bikini, and when did you get your pro card?
I got my pro card in 2013 at
Awesome.
Team Universe. So
Go Team U. Gotta love
yeah.
Team Universe. That's why we'll always forever call it Team Universe. And this
I
whole
know it's
NPC
so hard
universe.
because I try to tell people, I'm like, it's NPCU now, but like it was Team Universe and I won my pro card. So it just it is what it is.
Well, and I am so excited that you're here, because I want to talk about just the massive event you've put on. I think you've done it now for 5 years, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're going in our 6th year. I can't even remember anymore.
Yeah, I know, because Stacia and I were there at the very first one.
Yeah.
And so tell everybody what it is, tell them the name, and just explain to them, because I think it is it's just such a great event for women that are getting started to just every aspect of everything that they do. Because I know there's posing coaches out there, there's trainers out there, but you focus on that entire package of the presentation. So I think it's very different than what a lot of other individuals do with posing.
Yep.
It's the entire presence. So if you could just share that with people, that would be great.
Yeah, so it's Cuties Conquering the Stage, and we do it every January. And over the years, you know, it's grown bigger and bigger and bigger, and we get girls that come in from everywhere. We've had across the country come in. I can't remember how many states we've had represented, but it's really awesome. And I think this last year we also do a live web stream too. So the people that come in on the live feed that can't actually be there in person too. So it's all women. The only men that come in are like the coaches that we invite to come in, but we bring in somebody that focuses on every aspect of the sport. So while I focus on the posing and presence aspect of it, we'll bring in coaches, and we bring in people that do, you know, recovery work with massage therapists. We bring in plastic surgeons. We bring in everybody and everything that women need to know when it comes to the sport. And it ends up being this really awesome, like super intensive weekend where you just get so much great quality content, but you also get to bond with the women in your sport as well, which is great. Like I can't even tell you how many of these women have formed like lifelong friendships because of this one weekend. And I think most of you that are on this panel have been there at one point or another. Like you guys have been there, Becky's been there, Sandy was there. Like, you know, we bring in all the major, you know, female influences in the sport that we can, and it's just a really it's just an awesome weekend. And I would say that if you were going to ask me that question, what's my biggest accomplishment, I would say that's my biggest accomplishment for sure. Absolutely.
Well, and I think that's what's so neat to see is that, you know, just looking at how, and that was how we chose all the women to be here today, is just what they've gone on and accomplished. And I think it's, you know, everybody here is giving back, or they're providing a platform for new competitors to just go through this whole process and enjoy it. And I mean, I would say, you know, for me personally, competing was great, but I love what I do now more than anything. I
me
love
too.
putting on the shows. I love doing this platform. I love giving back. So, you know, and I think it's so funny, and Stacia can attest to this, and she was backstage with the pros, and seeing all the pros, and she said, the pros are just as nervous. They're just
Yeah.
as nervous. Because I know
Yeah.
you've worked with pros. I know there's pros that have come to your event.
Yep.
And so, the pros still need the practice, and they
Absolutely.
still need to get
People
it.
don't realize, like, this is one of those sports. I talk about this sport being like golf. People always want to golf the perfect game. Well, people always want to, girls and guys always want to have the perfect show. You're never going to have the perfect show. Something is always going to go wrong. It's never going to be perfect. And that's kind of what keeps us addicted to it as well. That's what keeps us growing through it. That's what keeps us wanting to be better, because we want to have that perfect show. It's not going to happen, but we want it to.
Yeah. Well,
So,
awesome.
yeah, it's been really awesome. And I have to say, like, I agree with you. The stuff that I've done off stage with the competitors has been far more fulfilling than anything I've ever done on stage. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's great. Well, and I'm going to transition over real quickly to Skylar, because I know Sean does a lot of her stuff at the shop gym. And so let's bring on Skylar for a second. And just, Skylar was very fun to watch her journey last year. I think, was it last year? Or was it 2018? Oh my gosh, it's 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2018.
But I remember just seeing her come, and, she and Jason have been at our shows and been there, and seeing her. And I just remember seeing her confidence and everything and going, that's going to be an it year for this girl. She's going to go far, and, seeing what she did. So you guys are finally open, right?
Yes, we opened yesterday. I was so happy. So
if you guys are in Virginia, the place to go to get a great workout where you're going to see lots of pro athletes, lots of national level amateur competitors, is going to be at the shop gym. So talk a little bit about just what it means to have a gym that's recognized and a place to be for NPC and pro athletes to be at.
Oh my God. It just, like, there's no feeling to, like, I can't put into words the feeling, because there's so much joy that comes from it, just seeing competitors come in and being like, this is the place to be for competitors. Like, if you want to, get into bodybuilding or whatever, like, the shop gym is the place to be. And it just puts the biggest smile on my face that we're able to do that for people. And especially now that we opened yesterday, I don't know how many, like, competitors I saw. Jerry Ward came out. Like, that was really cool. And Bishop, who's a IFBB pro locally as well, came out. Corey was there. It was awesome.
So, and we know you are actively competing right now. So what's coming up next for you?
So officially, because it was announced yesterday by Miss Sandy, that the 2020 NorCal will be happening. So 4 weeks I will be competing.
And let's be honest. So have you been using the gym all alone to yourself?
Yeah, I can't lie. I mean, but, we were allowed to be there. Did I do at-home workouts too? Yes, I did. But the main purpose still going there was replacing, like, cables that needed to be replaced. We got a lot of padding reupholstered, deep cleaned everything. Almost every week too, because it is an older building. So even though it's not getting used, it still gets really dusty. So, we were just making updates too. So why not work out while you're there?
Well, and I would say, it's like the best and worst of both worlds, right? During the whole coronavirus thing, that you own a gym so you can go in it and do it, but it's shut down. So nobody else can come join you. Nobody can be with you. So that definitely makes it hard. But I think what you just pointed out there is really great. You talked about the deep cleaning. I know people are worried about getting back to the gyms. And, we were asking, everybody in our group, are you running back to the gym? And are you the first one, standing there going open, open, open? Or are you holding back and waiting? So I think, just reassure people for a moment what you guys are doing to get the facility, in top notch, clean, and ready for them.
Yeah, so along with the deep cleaning that we've been doing, we clean almost every hour. People have to sanitize before they come into the gym. Obviously, if you're feeling sick, don't come. We did the whole 10 feet. We're really watching to make sure people wipe equipment down before and after use, and that's with anything you touch, knobs, handles, ropes. We have countless amounts of sanitation wipes, sprays, all of that stuff around. If you want to wear your mask in the gym, you're more than welcome to, but you don't have to. That's not part of the guidelines, which I was kind of happy about, because it kind of scares me to watch people work out with masks on. But yeah, we're just keeping everything clean, keeping 10 feet away from people, not touching, all that stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We're gonna move from gym to cookies. So we're gonna switch over to Miss Tracy here real quickly. So let me just say, Tracy, thank you so much coming on. Everyone that has received the OCD cookies, you have Tracy to thank for those cookies. So that is where these cookies are coming from. So Tracy, just for real quickly, let us know when you turn pro and what division you compete in.
Well, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. It's like morning in California.
There's a few of us here from the West Coast still, so you're good.
Okay. I turned pro in 2017.
And what division?
Figure.
Awesome. So great to have you. And so with turning pro, how long has OCD Cookies been around?
I actually started the company last year, and I really didn't focus on it until about this year.
And what's the inspiration behind it?
Well, being an athlete and a competitor, as everyone knows, it's like when I'm on prep, I have this obsession where I will look for food, and it was always cookies. So I'd always look for like the best cookies or which kind of cookie that I can get and it just started off with, my cousin actually she's like, well, let me make you some cookies. And she baked really good, and I kept on obsessing over getting the recipe for her cookies, but she would never give them to me. And so I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. I could just figure it out. If I can cook, I can bake, right? That's what I kind of came up with. So I just started mixing ingredients together, different types of sugar, different types of flour, until I actually started off with sugar-free. Didn't come out so good. Like sugar-free, high protein, low carb, I don't know, you name it. I try to put like, the lowest macros together, and then it came out like a disaster. So I said, okay, if I'm just gonna eat cookies, then it's just gonna have to be like fattening, high sugar, high carb cookies. So that's where all the ingredients kind of came together. And then actually my cookies really started, like why I started the company was my old roommate was Sydney, Vitamin C. You guys know Miss Olympia?
Yeah.
So she was my old roommate, and she was actually the first person I baked for. And she was like, you should really start something with this. You're really good at this. And I said, really? And I was like, okay. I was kind of skeptical about it. My husband is actually a pro bodybuilder. He's actually an Olympian too. And his closest best friends are like Roli and Ashkenani and Rami. And then last year I baked cookies and I brought it to them to the Olympia. But Roli loves food, so it's almost impossible to have him not love food. And then they started really liking it, and then I just really, and I guess I kind of just enjoyed watching people eat cookies since I couldn't eat cookies. So then I said, okay, and I don't know, and then that's kind of how it started, I guess.
Okay, so true confession time now. In your off season, do you eat your cookies?
Yes, so if you guys follow my Instagram, I've been coming out with a lot of new flavors. So the confession is every time I come out with a new flavor, I eat them.
Awesome. Well, and I guess that addresses the question. People were asking, are they like really good hearty baked cookies, or are they gluten-free protein cookies?
They are not protein cookies. They are not gluten-free cookies. I do make vegan cookies and regular cookies. So there has been some requests for gluten-free, and I do make them per request, but it's not on the menu. No.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We're going to go to a giveaway really quickly because we've got some more questions coming in. So now I'm going to start picking and choosing on some of you guys to answer some questions. But let's shoot it over to Miss Victoria to do a giveaway.
Thank you, Corey. So our second giveaway is a beautiful package from Miss Sean Couture, Cuties. She was really generous in providing the posing suit and 30 minutes of posing session. And this literally happened the last minute. She just jumped in and she said, look, I'm already here. We're going live. Let's do something extra for competitors today, just to show appreciation, to support them. So thank you so much. So we're just with her giveaway, Michelle Brandt is giving away one of her jewelry pieces, custom made. So who will be our second lucky winner for this gift?
So if you guys know us, you know our lucky number is 13. You know, this is episode 13. So of course we have to go for number 13. So Stacia's going to find out who number 13 is. And we just got a text message from this. It came through from Mr. Gary Udit saying, those cookies are the best ever. So just wanted to share that with you guys so that you saw that. So Stacia's going to compile some numbers so she can figure it out. And I'm going to grab a lot of questions that are coming in. Do you know who that is, Stacia?
So it's Robin Lynn Hartman.
Ah. Okay, so question that's coming in. Miss Robin's going to send us in her information. And then the next question is going to be, what would you say to someone who has been competing for 5+ years and still striving for a top 2 or 3? And what advice can you give those individuals to not quit because they have not reached those top 3 places? So what I'm going to do is just ask you guys, since I can see all of you guys, if you want to just put your hand up, let me know who wants to answer that question, and I will call on you and you guys can answer that question. So, well, thank you. Who's going to answer it? Becky's going to answer it.
I can answer it because I actually have some experience with this. I was a pretty successful amateur, but when I got to the pro ranks, you know, I'm limited by genetics and things like that. And I was always a smaller athlete. So for me, the goal was always just top 10. That's what I wanted to hit. And I thought that was my maximum potential. But what kept me competing was loving the process and having perspective that walking around in the everyday world, you're at like the top 1% of anyone as far as fitness. You look great, you're healthy, you're super functional, you're doing something most people would only dream of. That to me, like knowing that in my daily life, not just on stage, and just really loving the training and the eating well, just kept me going. It was never really about a trophy for me. I know it's nice to progress. And in order, like if you do want one of those top placings, I say, you know, it's important to stay on your path year round, on and off season, so you make it as easy as possible for yourself to keep getting better. And then also work with your coach to pick the appropriate shows. I think sometimes it's important to pick a show that maybe isn't that, you know, 500 people show. Maybe you pick a show that has, if you're a master's competitor, has a master's division for you to compete in, or a novice division, so that you're up against people who are kind of in your same situation and same circumstances. So you can kind of, you know, give yourself a better shot by what show you pick as well. But overall, I say it's just consistency and perspective. And even if you're placing dead last, you're still ahead of everybody who didn't even compete. And they're going to know that just seeing you in your everyday life. So.
That's a great answer. And I have a question that I'm going to direct directly to Teresa. This one revolves around specifically, you know, you mentioned that you work for NASA, and how do you balance, you know, what you do for your career with competing in this industry? And how should women that have, you know, a very professional job, how do they do both what they need to do for a living and what they're passionate about for their sport?
I would say I didn't balance it very well. You just have to, I would say, be structured. You know, like for me, it was gym in the mornings to work and then back to gym. So I had to make sure, you know, I cooked all my meals for a few days on Sunday because like I got on the train to go to work like 4 a.m. So I had to be structured. Now, closer to the shows, wasn't so good at work because sometimes I was probably snapping at folks. But once again, you have to keep in mind that this is, if you're doing this for a hobby, just let it be a hobby and try to keep your emotions in check, because that's hard with having to deal with people all day at work. So just, it's more structure for me. I had to make sure everything was where it needed to be because I didn't have a whole lot of time to play with. Now, I didn't have kids, so the whole kids thing is a different story with working and competing. But just find what works for you. That's the best I can give, because I didn't always do it that great, but I made it through. So.
I think that's great. So and we're going to put that as a lead in to ask Julie, how do you do it all? So for women that, you know, and you had pretty much stopped competing when you guys had kids, right?
I competed 1 year after my first one.
Okay, so how do you balance it all for women that have kids, have a job? What advice do you have for them about balancing it all?
It goes back to being structured and just being organized, and you have to be willing to accept when you have kids that wrenches are going to be thrown in your day, and how are you going to deal with that? You know, what are you going to do to make sure you still get all your stuff in? But with that said, you have to have a strong support system behind you. And so I was blessed that I had Mike behind me, of course, to help me. And when I did compete, you know, from 2000 to 2011, we had 2 other kids from his previous marriage that we had. So I was still being a mom in a sense of having 2 boys that still needed care and taking the sports and stuff like that. So it was a matter of finding that balance and just knowing that my days, I'm OCD. And so and I think a lot of competitors who are successful are that way. You have to have that structure and know this is what I'm going to do.
I think that's so great for people to understand that. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with a schedule and making it so that it's really regimented in terms of how you do stuff, how you put it together. So Julie, one more question with that is, in terms of meal prep for you, are the kids eating the same thing? Are you making 2 separate meals? Because I know that's going to be the next question.
There were times that we ate 2 separate meals. More so if I was competing, if I was in prep for a show, I followed my plan. I did my thing and I fed them what they wanted. But we all eat healthy in our house. So it's not really, you know, a big deal for somebody to eat chicken, rice, and vegetables for dinner. That's what everybody likes. So yeah, for the most part though, I kind of had my own meal and they ate what they wanted, because if dinner was at 6 and I wasn't due to eat till 8, then I wasn't eating.
Yeah. I remember actually being out there for one of the boot camps, and Mike was talking to one of your older sons, and they had gone somewhere and they had eaten McDonald's or something. And like, he was saying that he didn't eat it. He didn't eat it because, you know, he was like, I can't eat McDonald's. And I remember Mike saying, it's okay. You can eat McDonald's. Just let us know, you know, and we'll balance it into what we're eating for the rest of everything. So I think it was such great advice to see that, you know, even though, you know, you guys are working with clients every single day to keep them healthy, that, you know, stuff like McDonald's is going to happen with kids, or there's going to be birthday parties. And I think that was just, for me, it put it into such perspective as to, you know, it's all about balance and it's all about making that happen. So, you know, Mike taught me a lot before I ever had kids.
Right. It's teaching your kids healthy habits though, you know, and that's one of the things we do even with our little ones now, teaching them those healthy habits of, hey, we get up and we eat breakfast in the morning. We don't eat fruit snacks or pizza for breakfast. We eat a good, nutritious breakfast. And they have their choices. It's not like, oh, you can only have this or that. I let them choose, but we do talk about the nutritious value behind what we're eating and what is healthy and what isn't.
I think it's so awesome. So what I'm going to do is we get ready to wrap up. So Victoria, get ready for a giveaway, because we'll give that away here very soon. But what I want to do is just ask everybody. So I'm going to start with you, Tracy. What are your big goals? So finishing out 2020, coming out of the coronavirus, you know, whether it's your business, whether it's competing, what's on the horizon for you and what are your goals?
So as far as my goals for competing, I'll be starting prep in a few weeks. So once I start prep, no more new flavors for cookies. So I won't eat them. Yeah, so I'll be starting prep in a few weeks because because my husband will be starting prep, so it'll be kind of nice for both of us to kind of motivate each other, since gyms will be reopening next week for us in California.
Yeah, and being on the West Coast, those shows go really late into the 2020 year.
Yeah, so it'll be nice, like, to have the gyms reopen and just kind of getting back into routine, because we made a garage gym, but it's not the same. It's difficult. As far as my business goes, it's been taking off a lot quicker than I expected it to be, and it's been a lot of fun. And we've been thinking about opening a storefront in Santa Monica, because right now we just kind of bake out of my friend's kitchen, out of her bakery. So we kind of want to have a storefront in Santa Monica, but with the whole protesting thing, the city is a little destroyed. So we're going to wait until everything's rebuilt before we do that.
Yeah, I just felt like 20 pounds going on like my body with you saying that you want to open one in Santa Monica, since that's, like 30 minutes away from me. I said, oh gosh, don't do that. But that is awesome. And I'm so excited to be on the West Coast and get to, see you guys more and, hang out with you and, meet up at Powerhouse.
Yeah,
So.
that'd be awesome.
And Skylar, so we know what's coming up next with you, but you guys have some big horizons not related to competing as a pro, right?
Yes. So gym number 2 is still in the works. Hopefully 10 weeks will be open with the shop gym Ashburn. So I'm hoping that just goes smooth and I'm really pleased that we kept pushing through the whole shutdown and everything. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Congratulations. That's very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a feeling we'll, be filming something again from our non-disclosed secret location,
Oh, yes. Yes. And I'm very excited about our show September 19th that's coming up too. That's going to be fun.
Finally got the green light for everything, to start putting those all in the books. It's very exciting.
Yes.
And so Miss Shawn, what's coming up next for you? I know you've got if you guys haven't tuned in and watched her every day on Instagram.
Every day.
She throws the greatest questions out there. I will be like walking my dog and Shawn is live and I pull it up and I'm like, it's the questions that everybody wants to ask, but they never do. And you answer them.
Yes.
So, tell everybody really quickly, where can they find that so that they can follow all the questions and the advice you're giving?
So my Instagram is Shawn's Couture. It's at Shawn's Couture on Instagram, and I go live every single day. So I go live on the weekdays at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. And that's what I do. I do, a 15 to 20 minute live feed where we just answer your questions. We talk. On Wednesdays, I bring listeners on and we talk together and things like that. And it's a lot of fun. So we've been doing that all through quarantine. I've been doing that for 1.5 years now, and I do it every single day. So there's that. And then one of the great things that came out of all the stay-at-home stuff is one of the things we wanted to launch for a long time was a membership site. So we actually put it into high gear, having to stay at home and not go to shows anymore. And we launched our Backstage Pass, which is our membership site. Actually, Skylar's a member of it. So we've really been working hard on getting that put together. She's over dancing a little bit. And we have an app that we're making and all of that kind of stuff. So that's really what's next. Once it's right now it's in the beta version. So all the girls that got in on the beta version, we have them rock and rolling. And then once we have it fully built out, we will relaunch it again for new members. That's really what our big goal is right now.
I just love it. I think it's so cool to be surrounded by, when people will say like, bikini competitors, right? Just, oh, you compete in figure or whatever it may be, just to like the wealth of knowledge between all of you ladies and just everything that you guys bring to the sport and everything you give back. And like, I get goosebumps because it's just so great, to chat with all of you.
Well, it's crazy to see how far we've all come. And I wanted to mention too, I don't know if y'all knew this either, but I won my pro card with Mike too. So, we've all started basically in the same spot. And, it's just really cool. Like one little tidbit, one of the girls I met at my very first NPC competition in 2010, my first bikini, not figure, my first bikini competition, she took a long time off, and she's actually competing today. And I actually coached her in her posing and her pursuit and everything like that. And she's competing today in Utah. So, 10 years ago, somebody I met getting on stage together 10 years ago is now competing as one of my clients, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and I think it's great. I mean, we're all in this call, we're all in our 20s, our 30s, our 40s. I mean, I think the greatest thing about fitness is that it keeps you young. It keeps you going and just so much to enjoy. Real quickly, Diane, what's next for you? What are your big goals and what's on the horizon for you?
Just basically as my daily goal, just continue to help individuals transform their physique. That's my passion and that's important to me. So that's what I'll continue to do. I have clients who actually were prepping for the show through this whole coronavirus. So they can't wait to get on stage. So I'm looking forward to seeing them on stage because they really push the limits, I should say, in terms of not being able to get to a gym and still accomplishing their goals. So I'm looking forward to seeing them on stage.
That's awesome. So everybody that's tuned in, for all of my panelists, my pros, if you could do me a favor, if you know how to use the chat feature, if you could chat to all the attendees where they can find you. So if you don't want them to find you, that's okay. But if you do want them to find you, put your information in there so that, I don't want you guys to be completely bombarded with questions, but I know all of our attendees today are going to resonate with every single one of you on a different perspective. And so if they could just find your information, we will be sure that we make sure that we send it all out when we do the video of this so that you've got that. But just so that everybody can find you, that would be really great to put it out there. And so, Victoria, let's go ahead and give away one more prize.
Thank you, Corey. This is an amazing final live episode of our season 1, and I feel like one of those Hollywood stars that just a little bit sad that this is the final live episode, but we've got bigger and better things to do. And I just want to say special thank you to every single sponsor that have participated and gave something away and supported athletes, and everybody who join and just help us to keep athletes sane and keep us sane, because we were so busy with everything every week. It really felt like we were doing a show every Saturday because we were getting ready, we were excited, advertising. So thank you so much, everybody. Can't wait to see each and every one of you in person, hopefully very soon. It's going to be very different because we got to know each other on a very different level through the Zooms and just personal interaction. And our very last giveaway, the cherry on the cake, is going to be My Sporty Shop outfit, and also a posing session with beautiful Skylar. Where are you? Oh, you're right there. So it's going to be a session with the Skylar, either person in gym at her place or via Zoom or via Skype. And who is the last lucky person?
Last lucky person is going to go to Melissa Jean, turning in live from Facebook. So as we continue to do this and as we come through, make sure you always got to let us know you're here. That's how we find our experts that we're going to give stuff out. So if there's any other questions, let us know. We are going to keep this one short and sweet and on time to end. But as we mentioned, this is our last live episode that we are doing for season 1. So we will be bringing back a season 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all of our panelists today, if you would please send us, what we are looking for is a 90-second clip of what your gym space and your workout space looks like. So I would love it from every single one of you. It is not your actual workout, but it is what does it look like? So where are you working out? We were talking about this the other day with Skylar. It was a big, giant, empty gym. So what does your workout space look like? We'd love for you to share it. Send it to us. We have a fun challenge coming out of this. So just because we're going off live doesn't mean that we are done. We've got lots of stuff that's going to be coming in the Facebook group for you guys. So make sure you are a member of that Facebook group so you can get stuff. But next week, there will be an episode and you are going to get to see how did the pros stay fit during the coronavirus. So they're going to show you what their home gyms look like and where they've been working out, or if it's been, what does the shop gym look like when there's nobody else in it and you have the entire gym to yourself and you're cleaning and you're, you know, working out at the same time. But so that is coming. It will be out next week so that you guys will get to see it. So on behalf of everybody that made So You Want to Compete such a great experience for the last 13 weeks, thank you so much. It has been our pleasure to be here with you and do this with you every single week, and we wish you health and happiness as we move forward. We cannot wait to see you on those stages. And, you know, if you see any of us at an event, please come say hi. We'd love to say hi to you. Share with us in the group where you're competing, what your shows are. I guarantee you one of us that's here in this panelist is probably going to be there, and we would love to cheer you on. So I'm going to let Victoria and Stacia say a real quick goodbye as we wrap this up. And again, thank you so much on behalf of So You Want to Compete.
Stacia.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun learning how to do all of this technology things behind the scenes for you guys. Seeing over here in the chat on all screens saying that how everybody loves season 1 and we're excited about season 2. So season 2 will happen December through February, which is our off season in the DMV zone. It's going to come back a little bigger, a little better, and a little brighter. So fun times ahead. And I've had so much fun working with both Corey and Victoria on all of this.
Yes, again, thank you so much, everyone. It was a true privilege to just serve athletes. It was really, really exciting. Thank you, Corey and Stacia. I'm sorry.
You're good. All right, guys, we are going to wrap that up. Look for this episode posted on YouTube in the next couple of days, and go back and double check and make sure you subscribe so you see the updates when we post them. So bye all. Thank you, guys.